everyone, Letty here. Today we're going to do an as many as cards and hot cocoa packs with one 12 by 12 paper collection. I am trying to do some masculine themed or masculine cards and hot cocoa packs for a soldier care package that I want to be sending out. And you'll see that I don't have any papers left over after I do both of these projects. It's super quick and easy. They make great gifts. So continue watching and you'll see the step-by-step process. The paper collection I'm going to use is a Carta Echo Park Cabin Fever collection. I recently hauled this from Tuesday Morning. It has very like masculine colors. I thought it would be perfect. So here is the sticker, and you can see that I just recently purchased this at Tuesday Morning. And if you find this and you definitely want to use it for some masculine type holiday projects, I think this is a great one because the colors are just like spot on. It's just, I mean, look at it. It's actually really cute. I had been hunting for this collection for a while and I was super excited when I found it. And then I just recently purchased a few items from the Echo Park warehouse sale and I bought a couple of additional ones. It does also come with a 12 by 12 sticker sheet. Look at this. This is cute. So again, this is the Echo Park or Carta Cabin Fever. I'm also going to be using some solid colored cardstock. And then I had a couple of these packs of the rub-ons from the same Cabin Fever collection that I received in some of my warehouse boxes, my mystery boxes from Echo Park. So I figured I'd take them out just in case. And then I also have some stamp sentiments. So I'm using these two sentiments that I found from some of my stamp sets, which are these two. And you can see there I also showed the dies that I use. So the first one was from Tuesday Morning. It might still be on clearance. And then the second one was from Michael's a couple years ago. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up all of my paper that I'm going to use for the cards. So the first thing I'm actually doing for that project is to cut up the cut-aparts. I have this problem when it comes to paper like this, where if it has cut-aparts, I have a really hard time not using it for something other than cut-aparts. I just have a really hard time trying to use like the back of a cut-apart sheet. I feel like it's almost like a waste. And I really just always want to use the cut-apart. So when I saw this paper pad and I knew I wanted to make some hot cocoa packets and I saw the cut-aparts, I knew that I had to make some cards as well, which is not a problem because I can just include the cards. I was planning on making cards for the care package for the soldiers, but I figured I'd make cards and make hot cocoa packs at the same time. So first thing I'm going to do is just sort out all of the cut-aparts that I received. And then what I did was I have my cut-aparts, I have some A2 card bases, and then I pulled out 4 pattern papers from this collection kit because you can get 6 mats from each paper, which would make 24 mats, which is the 24 cut-aparts that I have. So I'm going to cut them down to 5 1/4 by 4, which is again 6 mats per 12 by 12 sheet with just a little scrap. So again, the card mats are going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I am going to go ahead and trim off the branding strip and then go ahead and trim each of these scraps down to 4 inches wide. So all of my papers are now cut and ready to go for project 1. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and prep everything for project 2, which are the hot cocoa packs. I had 6 sheets left of the 12 by 12 paper. I'm going to go ahead and cut these papers down to 4 by 4 pieces. And these, if you have seen my previous hot cocoa packet or hot cocoa pocket or pack or whatever you want to call it video, you'll see that this is the process I normally use to make these, and it's using a 4 by 4 inch matted paper on the pockets. So now I've got both projects ready to go, the cards and the hot cocoa packets. So, and then I still have just the sticker sheet left over to embellish afterwards, and no paper is left after cutting everything. So I did go ahead and kind of design the layouts for each set of cards, because again, I had 2 sets of cut aparts, so I have 12 different designs, 2 of each kind, because it's the same cut apart twice. So I already made one card and figured I would just glue one on screen with you here on camera. And that way you can kind of see the layouts as I go through each one and kind of the steps. Sometimes I'll add the additional scrap that I had left over that I cut down to 4 inches at the bottom of the larger mat. Sometimes I'll kind of put it towards the middle. It just kind of depends, but you'll see that I end up using everything that I had set aside for the cards. I do end up using them, and I do end up having a couple of different or a few different kind of card layouts for the fronts. Some have layering mats, some don't. Some have images at the bottom or, extra scraps at the bottom. Some don't. On this one, you can see that I actually showed you can actually do it with just half of a mat and then just put your layered cut apart on top, and it works just fine as well. Or you can do the whole matted background just like this. I'm using 2 separate mats or 2 separate designs to form the one mat. So, I mean, you have so many options with these. I really just kind of cut down my paper and just kind of let it roll, let the creative juices flow, I guess. And you'll see on some of these cut aparts, they didn't have a sentiment. I'm not worried about that because at the end, I'm going to go through with the stickers and I'm going to add sentiments and images and everything else. Kind of like this one. This one doesn't have a sentiment either. I've layered on all of the backgrounds, which does save a lot of time later on because I don't have to design it around a sentiment. I can just add the sentiment after I've designed the card. And so you'll see the last few that I did not have sentiments, which again, not a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out those sticker sheets and the embellishments, which are the rub-ons that I brought out. And I'm gonna go ahead and start layering things. And I just layer on a few different items that I think will work. I try to add at least 1 sentiment to every card. You don't necessarily have to, but you can make it more of a note card, but I just like to have some type of sentiment on them. And again, these are going to be going to some soldiers overseas, so I thought it'd be cute just to have some type of little sentiment on each of the cards. I'm gonna do my attempt at using these rub-ons. One of the packs of rub-ons is a little older, and it might be this one that I was using, and I was starting to apply the rub-on and then my paper slipped. And so, which again, not a problem because these are sort of like a cabin vintage. I mean, it's a little rough around the edges kind of thing, so it's okay that it didn't really, rub on perfectly. And then the second one that I attempted was a little bit better. You can almost not even tell that it was a rub-on. It almost looks like a sticker. And so, yeah, I mean, don't be afraid to try different, media or different types of products. I had these in my stash. They went with the collection. I took them out. It wouldn't have been something that I would have purchased, I don't think. I'm not a huge fan of rub-ons, but because they came in those mystery boxes, I wanted to try to use them. And I did only use a couple. I have, like I said, I just ordered a couple of new collection pads or collection kits of this collection. So I am planning on using the next set to do something more like albums and such. And so I will definitely use the rest of those stickers that I have left over here after I finish this, as well as the remaining rub-ons for those projects. So I'm literally just layering on a sticker or two. I'm getting down to the last few stickers, so my options are getting a little bit more limited. But again, not a big issue. Here are all the overall stickers that I had left over, plus the additional rub-ons. I had one that I had brand new and one that I had just used a couple out of. So I ended up with 24 cards. Again, each of the cut aparts, I had 2 of each of the cut aparts because I had 2 sheets of cut apart sheets. And on each cut apart sheet, it turns into 12, so 24 total. So you can see, I mean, they all look a little different, even though several of them have a lot of the same patterns or the same designs or card layouts, they still end up looking slightly different, which works for my purpose of sending them to soldiers because they're each you probably just get the one card. So project 1, which is the cards, are done. Now we're on to the next project, which is hot cocoa packs. And this is what the actual finished hot cocoa pack looks like when it's bagged up. I like to add a little peppermint. You don't have to, or you could even add something else. You could even add a large candy cane. I'm just adding a little mini one. And you see that I have kind of everything packaged together, everything that I had prepped, plus a couple of additional items. So you can use any type of hot cocoa for this project. I'm just using the Swiss Miss, which I bought at Sam's in bulk. And then the self-adhesive clear bags. These I am using the ones from clearbags.com. And then I'm also using the number 10 envelopes from Dollar Tree, as well as the mini candy canes from Dollar Tree. And then from the papers section, I have the sentiments that I had stamped, as well as my two mats, the front and the back mat. And I could have made the collection stretch a little more, but I ended up using some of my pattern paper for some of the backs. So I only ended up with 45 of these hot cocoa packets when I could have ended up with more. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut the envelope down to 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And because I want to turn it into a pocket, it's important that you only cut the ends of the envelope. You should have the middle section of the envelope left over, which is just like a scrap or trash or whatever. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue down the front. Now with double-sided paper, the benefit of using double-sided paper is that you have two options. So you could literally use, like in this case, that snowflake option, or you could use the snow globe option, or, you know, whatever two options you have on your paper. Then I'm going to go ahead and just glue down the stamp sentiment to the middle. And I'm making these very plain and very flat, again, because I'm going to be sending them as a care package overseas. And I wanted to fit as many as I could. And I didn't want like dimension to you know, bulk down this package. I'm not so much concerned about weight, but I'm concerned about trying to send as much as I can. This is optional. I'm using a 1-inch circle punch just to create a little notch in the front center. I didn't used to do this. And then more recently, I've seen several crafters do this. I know like Beth at Bourbon Creek Crafts does this. I really like that look. And so I've tended to started to do it a little bit more. So I'm just going to finish up these last few 9 that I had of the hot cocoa packets. And again, this is a great assembly line project. This is one of my go-tos for craft fair, but since I'm not doing craft fair, I've opted to send some care packages to soldiers instead, creating the same items that I probably would have sold in a craft fair. So I'll be sending cards and hot cocoa packets and then some other gifts. I'm thinking I'll include a few bags of marshmallows with these that they can share, just to kind of go with the hot cocoa packets. I will be having a separate video later where I talk about the website that I use to find a soldier or a group of soldiers, a platoon or whatever that's wanting these. So be on the lookout for that, and I'll show you where I box up my care package, as well as give you a little bit more information as to how you can actually get contact information as well. So now that the pockets are done, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fully assemble them. So I'm again taking out my hot cocoa packets. I'm taking out my candy canes. I am going to be using some adhesive mounting squares. You can use any type of double-sided tape, but I'm going to use those. And then the self-adhesive clear bags from clearbags.com. It is the number B54 that I'm using for these. So I'm going to assembly line these by putting out 4 at a time. And then I'm going to add the adhesive squares at the very top. I personally like doing it towards the left-hand corner, but you can put it anywhere at the top. And this is actually to glue down the papermint or the candy cane. Just like that. You see how it doesn't come off? That's exactly how we want to do it. Then you're going to go ahead and stuff it into the little pocket. So this is super easy. Like, it doesn't get any easier than this. And then once you've already put it into the little pocket and you've assembled it, then we're going to go ahead and put it into the clear bag and seal the bag. It literally is like super easy. And you'll notice I did put my information on the back of the hot pocket or the hot cocoa pocket. I do the same with my cards just in case, you know, somebody wants to try to reach out to me. They'll know where this product came from. Occasionally with soldier packets, they'll reach out to you and you can actually continue to send them additional items that they need, or keep, you know, the almost like pen pals. You can keep the communication line open. So this will give them a way to have an option to get, you know, to reach back out to the sender. So I'm just finishing up the last few, and as you can see here, again, I did assembly line. I did the last 5. It's just super quick, super easy. I mean, you see, we just put it together a ton really quickly. Here are the finished products. We had ended up with 24 cards and 45 hot cocoa packets. I've already put them, you know, in a container ready to go. So quick, so easy. I had no paper left over. So I did have a few rub-ons left over. I had one brand new and then a couple from the other one. And then I had just a few stickers from the 12 by 12 sheet, which I'll be saving, but no paper left over. So I thought that was a great, you know, as many as project. 24 cards, 45 hot cocoa packets. Thanks so much for visiting, everyone. Please subscribe, like this video, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks. Bye-bye.